Hi friends, welcome to today's video. My name's Stephanie and today I'm going to be showing you my best mermaid inspired nail polishes. So as you probably know, I have been doing this little mini series on my channel where I curate a bunch of nail polishes for different aesthetics. My last video featured my favorite Tropicore shades, which are perfect for tropical vacations, and today's video is all about Mermaidcore, so it is obviously mermaid inspired. I feel like in a way this and my Tropicore video are like two other parts to my summer favorites because I feel like I can easily interchange them. Anyway, I will talk more about that at the end. For now, let me just show you my picks. The first polish we have is Mooncat's Siren's Deceit, and this, of course, needs no explanation for the name alone. It is a magical, sheer, ethereal purple jelly filled with this blue shimmer and a dainty hollow sparkle. It is just one of those enchanting shades that just calls to you. You know that I absolutely adore shades like this one. Granted, I do have the older bottle that has the skinny brush, so if you do buy this with the new Mooncat packaging, you aren't going to struggle with the application like I did, but it definitely is on the sheer side. Next I have Mooncat's Ocean Lies, which I believe was from the same collection as Siren's Deceit, but I don't fully remember what that was called. Unfortunately, this one was discontinued and it just breaks my heart remembering every time because I absolutely love this shade. It is just a gorgeous seafoam kind of turquoisey jelly base that is packed with this golden to orange to green shifting shimmer. It is just so enchanting to me, just like a polish you want to dive into and swim in. I really wish they would bring this one back. Next up we have Mooncat's Mermaid Bay, and of course this was another no-brainer. I had to include this polish. It is just so pretty, so incredibly shifty. I feel like this is what I imagine a mermaid tail would look like. It's honestly really similar to Ocean Lies. I wonder if they released this one to sort of replace that polish. Even though this has a more blue color, it definitely does glow green in indirect lighting, and it has a pink shimmer head on, as you can see here. So yeah, definitely very much like a multi-chrome, super shifty kind of polish. The next Mooncat I have is Catfished, and this came out in the Mermaid Tales collection last summer. This was one of their very first ultra fine flaky polishes, which, as the name suggests, is a very, very tiny microflake formula, which I think totally evokes those mermaid tail, fish scale kind of vibes. And this is a beautiful icy blue, almost tealy aqua kind of color that also shifts to a little bit of like a purple shade in indirect lighting. It is just so pretty. I ended up just doing 2 coats for my swatch here, and there are a few bare spots, so you might need a third for full coverage. I also have Mooncat's Merkitten, which is from that same Mermaid Tales collection as Catfished. This one is this deep magenta pink jelly base with a gorgeous blue shimmer and a dainty hollow sparkle. I feel like I say this so often on my channel that I just love pinks like this that are so vibrant and also have a blue shimmer. I feel like this one is just especially glowy, maybe because it has a little bit of that squishy kind of formula. It's not a true jelly per se, but it definitely still shows some nail line. I think I would call this more of a crelly though. Either way, she is so cute, and this is definitely the shade I would wear if I was a mermaid. And the last Mooncat that I have is unfortunately another retired one. This is Sunken Splendor from the Expedition Atlantis collection. It's like this medium teal kind of jelly base color with this really beautiful golden shimmer and a golden flaky. There's also silver reflective glitters, and this is a magnetic polish as well, so I will be showing the cat eye and velvet effect soon enough. So there's definitely a lot going on in this polish, but I feel like it is still just so beautiful. Just another magical, enchanting kind of polish that totally invokes that sense of going deep sea diving for treasure. I feel like this also could be the color of like a mermaid tail. It kind of gives me Ariel vibes. It is just so beautiful, and it really pains me that they got rid of this one and Ocean Lies. Like, I thought Mooncat loved greens. Why did they get rid of these? Speaking of green, the next polish I have is Cirque Colors Mermaid Grotto, and this one came out in last year's Surfer's Crush collection, which as a collection wasn't exactly mermaid inspired. This is really like the only one, but it is a beauty. It is this really soft, almost jade green acrylic base with this really bright aqua shimmer, and of course a dainty hollow sparkle, which you know I love. I've said it so often in so many different videos that I just really love this type of finish from Cirque, and the color is just so beautiful. I just love how bright but soft it is at the same time. Even though it only released last year, I feel like this one is just still so underrated. This next polish I would say is more mermaid adjacent maybe, and this is Cirque Colors Anchors Away. I talked about this one most recently in my Cirque Pride Shop video because this is one of the polishes included. It is this super gorgeous, almost cornflower blue base that has this really bright lime green shimmer and again that dainty hollow sparkle. I think it's just such a gorgeous color combination and totally gives you that sense of living underwater. Like, it's definitely another polish I would love to swim in. Another mermaid adjacent polish to me is Polish for Days Catch Ya Later Dude, which I picked up last year during Black Friday, and I feel like I never ended up sharing it on my channel, so sorry, but better late than never. This is an absolutely stunning turquoise jelly base that is absolutely packed with these golden yellow iridescent flakes that shift to orange and green and blue in extreme angles. This is just one of the most magical flaky bombs in my collection. It is just mesmerizing. I don't remember what collection this was originally a part of, but I feel like any kind of magical flaky bomb like this just reminds me of mermaid scales in the best way. It still is a little bit sheer on two coats, but I feel like there's just so many flakies it distracts from any visible nail line. And here I tried to capture the green and aqua shift with the more adjusted lighting, but I was struggling. Just trust me, it is so gorgeous in real life. The other flaky bomb I had picked up during Black Friday was Polish for Days A Whole New World, and this is absolutely breathtaking. It is like this jelly crystal pink base packed with that golden iridescent shimmer that again shifts to like green and aqua in more indirect lighting. You already know that if I was a mermaid, this is the color my mermaid tail would be. It is just so freaking pretty. I just love the way those flakies layer up and look like scales, and the way it captures the light is so beautiful because you get those little glimpses of the other colors as well. Just another absolutely mesmerizing shade, and again I tried to capture like the aqua shift that you see in indirect light, but it just was not working here. Next up I have KBShimmer's Splash Talking, and this one came out a couple of summers ago. It's one that I featured a couple of times on my channel whenever I talk about Pisces, which yes, I know are represented by fish, but I also associate Pisces with being a mermaid, so to me this is a very mermaid adjacent polish. It is this super bright kind of cornflower blue jelly base that has this really vibrant aqua blue shimmer that shifts to purple in extreme lighting, so it's kind of like a duochrome. It is just so watery and magical in the best way. I mean, maybe you might not like how thin this is, but if anything, you could just layer this over a lighter blue base and the shimmer is really gonna stand out. Next up, I have KBShimmer's Hexy Bikini, which I just shared as one of my summer favorites. It is this absolutely stunning glitter bomb that is packed with silver, aqua, teal, hot pink, metallic, and holographic glitters. It is just so blingy, so eye-catching. I feel like it kind of reminds me of crushed shells, but even with the name being Hexy Bikini, I think I would have this as my mermaid bikini top. Next, I have a couple of ILNP shades from their Under the Sea collection last summer. The first one here is Hidden Treasure, and this one is kind of like a medium, warm, grapey purple jelly base that is packed with this golden microflake or a large shimmer particle. I feel like they call these types of polishes shimmers, but to me they're like very tiny flakes. So to me, this kind of finish just reminds me of Mooncat's ultrafine flakies, so this is like a purple version of Catfished. And I love it, especially with that contrasting golden shimmer. It is just so pretty. And the other polish, of course, is Ariel, which is this beautiful, bold red. I'm pretty sure inspired by the Little Mermaid herself. I feel like I could just not include this polish. It is just such a quintessential color when you think of mermaids. This one has more of a sheer, juicy jelly base and is packed with, again, these kind of golden, iridescent flakies. But I think there is also this smaller kind of shimmer particle in there as well. So it has a really pretty sparkle that's just like suspended in that jelly base. It is just so sparkly, and I love the way that it glimmers when it catches the light. Speaking of The Little Mermaid, Morgan Taylor actually did a Little Mermaid collection last summer, and I had to include one of the polishes at least. One of my favorites from the collection was called Tell Me About It, which is this really beautiful kind of warm toned purple that borders on being a pink, but not quite, and it has this really icy kind of silvery shimmer that kind of gives it a pearlescent vibe, which I think is just so perfect for mermaids. And there's even this really tiny and kind of dispersed pink flaky as well. It is kind of swallowed up by the shimmer, but it is this little extra detail that is so cute. I just love this shade. But nothing screams The Little Mermaid more than Sincerely Polish's Ariel, which is this really old polish from my collection. I want to say I got this back in like 2015 maybe. She had this whole collection inspired by Disney princesses, and I just love them all. I think I shared a couple of them in my favorite glitters video, but they just feature this assortment of micro and small hex glitters that are mainly translucent, so they just give this really beautiful layer effect that also reminds me of crushed shells. It is just so stunning. Next I have Nailed It Mallow-Dramatic, which was a polish pickup exclusive shade from a couple of years ago, so I'm sorry this is not around anymore. But it is this super beautiful bubblegum pink jelly base that is packed with these golden flakies. It is just so magical. I immediately, when I first wore this, also thought of crushed shells. I think there's just something about the way that the flakies get layered up that really gives it so much visual texture, but they all lay completely flat. It is just such a cool look, also kind of reminiscent of fish scales or mermaid scales, and I just obviously love the color. In a similar vein, I have Nailed It's Toy Day, which my bestie got me for Christmas this past year, and it is this baby sky blue kind of jelly base packed with these really large golden and orange iridescent flakes. Or I guess some of the flakies are super large, so it just, I don't know, it just reminds me of fish scales, mermaid scales, honestly maybe even a little bit of like fish food, but in a much more appealing color combination. It is just so magical. Even though these polishes aren't around, you should definitely check out Nailed It for more flaky bombs. I feel like they end up releasing polishes that are similar to ones they already had. And last but certainly not least, I have Wildflower Lacquer's Don't Play Coy, which was another polish pickup exclusive shade from a couple of years ago. Even though the name makes you think that this is inspired by fish, I'm pretty sure this was from the zodiac month. So this polish actually was inspired by Pisces, and as I mentioned before, I definitely associate Pisces as being mermaids. So to me, this is very much a mermaid polish. I mean, look at it. It is just this super stunning teal jelly base packed with some iridescent flakies that shift from orange to gold and green. The flakies in this are a little bit smaller, but still just so gorgeous and so glowy, and I love how it looks in indirect lighting especially. I just find it so enchanting, like another shade I want to dive into and get lost in. And finally, we have our collages. So this first one is definitely the smaller one. It is my pinks, my purples, and my one red polish. I feel like the majority of these are definitely more for the names, where they're just very mermaid coded. But obviously for me, when I think of mermaids, I associate them more with like the blues and greens, which make up this bigger collage. And I just love how they look. I know some of them might look pretty similar. Definitely some patterns in terms of color and especially finishes with the flakies, but I just love them. So that wraps up my best Mermaidcore nail polishes. As always, I can't wait to hear what you think of my picks for this aesthetic. I feel like so many of these polishes are just classic mermaid shades, obviously based off of the names alone. As you saw, I definitely have a preference towards flaky finishes for mermaids because I just think of their scales. So in a way, it kind of reminds me of how for my favorite fairy core polishes, those were mainly shimmers with a few flakies here and there, and then this is kind of the opposite. But yeah, I would love to know what you think of my picks, and of course, what are some of your favorite Mermaidcore polishes? They obviously don't have to be inspired by mermaids. Like some of these, like the Polish for Days, I don't think were inspired by mermaids, but it's just the finish that really does it for me. So I would love to know what polishes you would wear that just make you feel like a mermaid. And I definitely would love to know if you have any favorites or recommendations for green kind of mermaid polishes, because I was surprised with how few I had, but I definitely am happy to have rediscovered, I guess, Mermaid Grotto from my collection. I feel like a few months ago, I was like really craving a nice soft green with a blue shimmer, and I just can't believe that Mermaid Grotto was in my collection the entire time and I just kind of forgot about her. She's so pretty, so I'm so excited to wear her again this season. But if there's other green mermaid inspired shades, I would love for you to share them with me in the comments, or just leave me any and all thoughts that you have down below so we can chat about it. But thank you so much for hanging out with me today. I hope you have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.